The film has the tough task of introducing so many characters along with the universe and the creatures of Rebel Moon. How was it introducing all of the members of Kora's team while still making them have an impact? Because that's a tricky thing to balance.
Yeah, it's a good question because like one of the things about the sort of basic structure of the two movie idea was that we would gather the team in movie one, and in movie two we could set them to whatever task, fighting, whatever it was that happens, whatever, the mother world rains down upon them. So because I really wanted to make sure that we took the time to like meet each member of the team, what their conflict might be, what their hesitance might be, or non-hesitance to joining the team. So, but of course I still wanted it to be compelling and sort of keep the trajectory going. And that was really what having the mother world sort of pursuing them a little bit, or sort of honing in on their sort of figuring out their path was really the engine of movie one. And so it was a challenge, but in the end I think it pays dividends because of the amount of character you get as you're catapulted into movie two.
One element that really surprised me was that there was like some fantasy influence. It's not straight sci-fi. There's this really great griffin-type creature that's tamed during the first movie. What did you like most about blending sci-fi and fantasy? Because it gives a really unique feel for Rebel Moon.
Yeah, I really like the idea of the reason why I felt it was important to combine those two things was because I think that it's a genre movie in the end. It's sci-fi fantasy genre film. And I just love that as sci-fi, you're basically tip of the spear of like all of fantasy sort of cinema. And I think that for me, that idea of like a little bit of magic, griffins, the alien creatures, robots with a conscience, like all that stuff combines to create a real rich tapestry to set the movie in.
Yeah, and what impressed me the most about the movie was just the sense of the world and the amount of small touches. I can't wait to rewatch it and take in everything I missed. But I was curious, when it comes to doing these movies, do you typically build the world out to this extent? Or was it because, you do want to do so much more in multiple mediums that you really took the time to flesh out every single aspect?
Yeah, we really did. I just felt like in order for the world to really be consistent and make sense and not sort of step on its own toes, we were going to have to do the work of really going into the corners of all the different sort of cultures and histories and stuff like that to make it make sense, so that not only if you get extra sort of the extra material that we're creating, whether it be a video game or a comic book or an animated film or whatever, but that those things have a real sort of mythological canon that they can rely on, so that they're not having to riff, that they're actually feeding the general idea with other experiences, but that are consistent with the world. And I felt like that was really important for the richness that I think fans expect these days of some sort of, a thing of this nature.
And then my last question, I love the fight scenes. I love the bone staff in particular. What did you like most about that weapon and just the thudding blows? Those were really fun to watch.
Yeah, like I really love the idea. I mean, not to say it's too heavy-handed of a metaphor, but that the Imperium is a blunt instrument. Like they are not surgical. They are very heavy-handed. And I just thought that this kind of club was a hilarious weapon for Noble to have. And then, of course, it's based on this sort of mythological relic that, long ago, the baby Issa was carried across the desert by this creature that had this super long femur, and that's what that bone is. It's kind of like almost like a Joseph and Mary style story, but we went to that deep of a sort of storytelling devices, that the weapons were even based on mythological elements that you wouldn't even learn in the movie, but that was really fun. But I do love that bone staff.